Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Joyner, and I've chosen to focus on the dwelling place like discussed in chapter 8 of our text. So I have the book right here, and I'll go ahead and read a little bit about what a dwelling place is. According to page 138 of our textbook, a dwelling place is a gathering of communicative practices and stories that give an organization a sense of uniqueness, separating a specified organization from others within the same industry. So with that being said, I recently volunteered at the Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte, and when I was there, I saw a very unique dwelling place come alive that was made of people who shared similar interests based on hospital housing plans, and they've all come together to create a more positive dwelling place for the families that are having extended stays at the hospital. And it's way more positive than the dwelling place that is offered at the two local hospitals in Charlotte. The Ronald McDonald House isn't just in Charlotte. There's Ronald McDonald houses all over the country from what I believe and what I've learned. The dwelling place that they've created came from the uniqueness of hospital stays and kind of the negative feelings that come with those. They've created a very different housing plan than the usual that is offered in the hospital. So within the same industry, that being the hospital industry, there's nothing quite like the Ronald McDonald House for those who are in need of housing. Yes, housing is usually offered, but nothing is quite as unique and positive as the Ronald McDonald House. I mean, I was able to go in and I was given a tour of Ronald McDonald House, and there were families in there that were doing normal day-to-day activities. They were cooking breakfast, they were making cookies, they were doing laundry, they were watching TV, and a lot of that stuff isn't offered in the hospitals. So that's why I just found it such a positive dwelling place for people in conjunction with what you usually would have at a hospital is just a total 180 from, the norm and what you would usually receive. So I am very sensitive to hospital stays just because when my grandfather was in the hospital about 2 years ago, he was there for over a month. It was almost 2 months that he was there. And the hospital that he stayed at was about 45 minutes from our house. And so my family was offered a free suite in the basement of a hospital. So I will say it was very nice. It was very modern. It was newly renovated, but it still had the hospital feel. I mean, we would spend all day with my grandpa, who was on a ventilator, and we would go down and sleep in the basement of a hospital, which, I mean, they had done a really good job in making it very nice. And it was newly renovated, like I said, and it was very clean, but I still couldn't shake the fact that I was in the basement of a hospital, the very same place that had given me so much sadness that whole day, that whole week, that whole month. And there's just something about a hospital in general. I mean, I know I can't be the only one that feels this way, that just has a negative vibe to it. And that was my dwelling place for about a month and a half. We stayed there every single day. Thank God my grandpa was able to beat the sickness that he had, and he was able to go home, and he's fine now, but that was a very negative dwelling place. And so when I walked into the Ronald McDonald House, I was just astonished at what they had created, and the feeling that they gave there was so homey. It looked like a home, and it felt like a home, and it was so positive in contrast to what is usually given to people who are staying at hospitals. And I was dealing with the sickness of a grandfather, but I know most people at the Ronald McDonald House are dealing with sicknesses and very, very ill children. And I don't have children myself, but I would assume that if a grandpa was tough, I would imagine that a child is even tougher to watch in the hospital. And so what they've created is very unique, and I'm sure there's places like Ronald McDonald House, but they definitely have surpassed all of the other attempts at extended hospital stays, and really have made it a very hospitable place to keep those families in that time of need. So I think the hospital can definitely lower the spirits of those whose family members are grieving with the sickness of a loved one. So that's why I think that the Ronald McDonald House was a great alternative dwelling place for those people. The Ronald McDonald House has overcome this negative dwelling place by creating a homey space for families during extended hospital stays by opening what truly feels like a home away from home. And so I'm excited to dig deeper into this project and perform a case study on the hospital dwelling place and exactly how Ronald McDonald House has overcome the sense of this negative space and made it into a more positive space.